I got me a box of goodies, my friends. Let's just see what we got here. A wooden star, a bucket, some drop cloth, a hymn sheet, a tissue box, some Dollar Tree cubes, a spindle, and some goodies. This is measuring tape and or Jesus. You know we have to have some Jesus in us. Everything we do, we have to have Jesus. And then in this bag we have some rusted metallic stars, 3 of each size. Then we have this cute ribbon and a piece of ticking stripe cloth. So my friend Kendra from Late Night Creations sent us, both Loli and myself, the same items, and we want to show you how we use these items to craft with differently. And this is Craft with Friends. This is a playlist that is hosted by Kendra. Each month she invites special guests to craft with her, and this month it is myself and Loli. So let's get to crafting. As you may have seen from the thumbnail, we are going to be doing patriotic DIYs. So I'm starting with the star. So here I'm just peeling off the tag from the back, and I'm using a piece of masking tape to section this off, and the masking tape is going to help me to do that when I'm painting. So once I section off that area, I'm using my little tape measure that Kendra sent me. I have one that I keep by my side, but this one, it will come in very handy as well. All I'm doing is just making sure that both sides of our top half are even. And these are the paints that we'll be using to paint the section of our stars. And there I'm just showing you that I will also be mixing the blue with the white to tone down that color. So I gave the lower half of our star 2 good coats of the white paint, and then I just used a piece of cloth to wipe off the excess paint. Remove the tape, and then you're going to switch that around to place that on the part that you just painted, and then we're going to use our blue blended in with a little white. So my friends, are you here for the very first time? Welcome. I am so happy that you decided to join me. If you are coming over from any of the other channels, welcome. Kendra and Loli D are super sweet crafters, and I enjoy crafting with them. So if you are coming to my channel for the very first time, welcome. I hope you consider staying a while, subscribing, and like the video, because any action you take on the video signals to YouTube that you enjoy the content, and they will push it out to more viewers like yourself. And if you see that hype button while you're there, go ahead and hype as well. So now we're painting in our red. I'm using a small paintbrush. I'm so excited to see what the other 2 ladies have used their items to create. I am sure you are excited. Make sure you check out their channels after you get done watching my video. Links to their channels will be in the description box below. I am now removing the tape that I had put down to reveal the white section that was already painted. And now we have our stripes all done. And then I took some antique wax and went all the way around the frame. And now that is done, I am taking this white marker from the Dollar Tree and I'm freestyling some stars. I just crossed 2 triangles on top, one on top of the other, and there goes my star. And then I'm using some white paint to paint that in, and my stars look crooked, but that's the whole effect. It gives it character. And then to further give it some more character and give it a rusted, distressed look, I took the scraper tool and just went across the surface of the board, and then just used the sanding block to sand that down. And now I'm adding some Mod Podge Multi, and this is also a sealant, so it helps to seal the paint in. And then dried that And then to further embellish, I'm using a piece of jute cord and some hot glue to just border where the two sections meet. Next, I made a finger bow with just wrapping it around my fingers a few times and leaving the tails long, and then glue that right at the top under the first star. Glue that down right there using the hot glue. Next, I had this window cling that says 4th of July. I peeled that off, and these window clings don't stick too well to wood or any surface other than glass. So I just used some school glue as the adhesion and glued that down. Made a hanger from a piece of the jute, stapled that down, and then cover the ends with a piece of brown paper, and this one is complete. For this next one, I'll be using the wooden tissue box, and I took my tool kit from the Dollar Tree, and I am just removing the hinges from the box, and I'm going to carefully set aside the screws so I don't lose them. And then I took the sanding block and sanded down the box and dusted off the dust. Now I'm going to paint that with 2 good coats of my chalk paint. And this napkin I got from either Jackie from Jackie Burns Creation or from May Craft Away with Me. I don't remember which one of them I got this from, but I got it from a friend. And this is what we are going to use, stars and stripe. So I removed the back layer from the napkin, and I'm just putting it down on the board to see how the pattern falls. And once I figured out how I'm going to put this on, I just cut that in 2. And then we're going to decoupage this onto our box. So I apply the Mod Podge and use the fan brush to just spread that on thinly. Now you can use a lot, or you can use just enough to get your napkin decoupaged on. I'm going with just enough. So once I put that on, I just spread it until it was tacky, and then I place the napkin down on top of that. I had brandy from the DIY struggle on my last video. If you missed that, I will link that down below for you. And then I took a piece of saran wrap and placed that on top, and I'm going to just use my brayer to smooth that out. Now you can use your mini heat press if you have that. You can also use this method, which is the saran wrap on top. And then I remove that piece and apply some Mod Podge again. And why I remove that is because the pattern didn't line up evenly, and so I had to cut that off. And so once I spread my Mod Podge, once I spread the Mod Podge until it was tacky, then I took the other piece of the napkin just so the pattern can continue, and then the saran wrap again and the brayer and smooth that out. And I will do that until I complete all the sides. So now we have our sides done and the brim, and then I will now turn my focus to the top of the box. Now because I covered the holes with the napkin, I took the point of the scissors and made sure that those were open, and then I lined up the cover to make sure that the hinges for the cover were on top of the hinge for the box before I actually decoupage, because I wanted the pattern to flow in the same direction. So once I lined up my napkin, I will go ahead and cover the top of the box as well. And now that it's done, I just took the scissors and cut away the excess from the middle, and then use the emery board to just file off the excess. If you've been one of my subscribers from way back when, welcome. I am so happy that you're a part of this family. And if this is your first time, where have you been all this time? If you enjoy the content, please go ahead and subscribe, and also like the video, because that signals to YouTube that you enjoy the content, and they will push that out to more viewers like yourself. So here I am just applying another coat of the Mod Podge Multi, and that is to protect the napkin and to seal it. Just use the heat gun to dry that. And then I thought it needed something else, so I took the fan brush and a little antique wax, and I'm just distressing that on just to give it an aged look. And here are my stars. I am using 2 of these small ones, and I'm going to just take a little white paint and the chippy brush and to just distress those. Where it went on too heavy, I just took the baby wipe and wiped that back. I was going to use them for a garland, but then I didn't have anywhere to put my garland, and I'm like, why waste my stars that way? Next, I use a small paintbrush with a little multi-purpose cement glue and just apply that to the edge of the star, and I will put one on either side of the box, and then I will replace the cover with the hinges. And this completes this one. Now for this one, like I did for the star, I'm using a piece of masking tape to section off my bucket. And I'm going to paint it this way, the top part blue and the bottom part in white. And that dried. Now I peel that off and dried it. Now I can't put the tape back on the white section to paint the blue section, because that is going to lift up the paint, and I didn't want that to happen, so I had to just freestyle it. So I took my dabber and the blue paint and just dabbed that on until I was satisfied, and then dried that. And this is where, like I just mentioned to you, that I can't put the tape down. I went ahead and did the same thing here, and you will see where I went wrong. See, it lifted the paint. It lifted the paint. So now I'm going to have to just fix that. So I took the dabber again, and I'm using the red paint to dab that on. Now why I was putting the tape on there was to give me stripes or even stripes, but now I have to freehand it with the dabber and get that on there. And I will go around, just eyeball like the space between how I want that on, and just continue onwards until I got all the stripes painted in. Now the dabber didn't cover all the areas, and I didn't want to mess up the blue section, so I used a small paintbrush and continued on, just filling out the areas that the dabber did not cover. So now we have the bucket done. I had these small stars, and I'm going to paint them with some white paint. So I took a piece of masking tape and just place them down on the masking tape to paint them, and I gave them 2 good coats. And then I took the cement glue and glued on the stars to the bucket. So now it's done, and I am spinning it around and realize that one section had too much of a white space. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to write the word stripes. I wasn't trusting myself to go straight with the marker first, so I'm using the pen to just trace that out, making sure that all the letters were placed in the right place. And there I'm counting on my fingers to make sure that I had the middle letter in the right place. So you had the middle letter, and then on either side, at the top and the bottom, it should be balanced. So that is what you saw me doing. So I place the I in the middle because that would have been the center letter. So I place that in the center and then fill in the others. Next, I took jute cord, and just like I did with the star, I'm going to just glue that right in the center between the blue and the stripes, and that borders it. And this one is done. And you will see more of this one after I am done with the next DIY. So this one now is the spindle and or hem sheet. So I am going to use a sheet to cover the spindle. So what I'm doing, I'm just tearing it, tearing off the excess white sections, and then I'm going to tear those in strips. Now what I could have done is like soak this a little bit so I could get it tearing naturally. And here you see me doing that after I realized that I should have done that in the very beginning. So while that is being done, I took the sanding block and I'm just sanding off the sheen from our spindle and then wipe that off. I could have painted this with one coat of white paint, but I chose not to because I wanted the natural brown to peek through. And I'm going to use my strips to decoupage that onto the spindle. I started out by using the brush and just rubbing or applying the Mod Podge onto the spindle directly and then placing the paper over that. I realized that it would have made much more sense if I diluted the mixture, soaked the paper in that, and then apply it to the spindle. And that's what I ended up doing. Now that we got that out of the way, I took some jute cord and I'm just wrapping that around the top of our spindle. I also did it for the bottom, and then trimmed off whatever little paper was hanging off over the jute. And then I'm taking a piece of the drop cloth, cutting just a small piece off of that. We'll come back to our spindle in a little bit, but here is our bucket again. I'm going to apply some Mod Podge over that to protect the paint, and now we're ready to embellish. So I'm taking some newspaper and I'm filling the bottom of the bucket, and that's just adding support. And then I placed a piece of flower foam in the middle, and here is our ticking cloth. Again, I'm going to put that right around, and that is to cover up the newspaper. And then I have this bunch of greenery that came on a wreath from Amazon, one of the small Amazon warehouses or stores in my area. I purchased that for the sake of using the greenery. So I pulled them off, and here I'm just cutting them apart, and I'm sticking those on the inside of our flower foam, and I will do that until I have enough where my bucket seems full. And there you have it. And here is the spindle. So that strip of drop cloth that I had cut off, I'm wrapping it around the neck of the spindle, just tying that once or twice, and have the ends hanging down. And then we're going to place that in the center of our bucket and use the ticking stripe to just cover up the newspaper. And that's about it for this one. Up next are the cubes, and I'll be painting these with the same colors, red, white, and blue. And then I picked out these wooden letters that I got in a whole set from Amazon, I picked out the letters USA and I'm staining that with some antique wax. And this base I had already used in a previous DIY, and I don't remember what happened to it, but I had this part of it. And here I'm just using the same sponge that I used to stain the letters to just dirty this up a bit, stain that, and now I'm ready to glue my pieces together. But before I did that, I took the same sponge again and just distress the cubes. And now I'm going to affix them, or not affix, I'm going to glue them together using some wood glue. And as you notice, some of the cube, the bottom one side of the cubes, I had left that plain because I wanted that to be glued directly to the other side. Wood to wood gives you better hold. And this is where I realized that I had glued on the red one on top of the white one incorrectly and tried to pull that off. I eventually got it off and then just fixed that. And so then I just used the remainder of the wood glue that was to the side along with some hot glue and glued on the letters. Next, I wanted to plant a flag on top of my blue block, so I took my handheld hard-held drill, drilled a hole right on top of the blue one in the middle, and I had these little tiny flags that I got. These are actually toothpicks. I got these from the 99-cent store maybe 2 Christmases ago. And then I'm going to add that right there with a little hot glue. Well, actually I still had a little of the wood glue left, so I used that. Just applied it to the end of the toothpick and a little hot glue and just stick that right in the middle. And I believe this was done. Well, actually I thought it was done, but then I remembered that I needed to glue it onto my base, so I used a little hot glue and some wood glue and glued that right on top of the base, and it wasn't even centered. And off camera, when I was done, I added some white rocks to the base of the flag. Our scripture is taken from Job 2 verse 11. When Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, heard about all the troubles that had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. We all need that person in our corner when things seem to go all down. And here is one final look at everything that I made using the items that I received. Don't forget to check out Loli's video as well as Kendra's video down in my description box below. I had so much fun making these. Thank you, Kendra, for allowing me to join with you this month, and for Loli as well. And let me know which one of these was your favorite. And if you have not yet subscribed, now would be a good time to do that. And to help support the channel, all of my contact information is down in my description box below. You can find that on my Linktree address, my Buy Me a Coffee, and all my social media handles. And if you enjoy the content and would like to watch more, here is a video you can watch. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you in my next one.